The following video is not made for kids. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello to my subscribers, this is the TFangy coming to you with what will hopefully be a quick and successful review. And today we're going to be taking a look at one of the deluxe class Transformers that, based off of other reviews and overall feedback I've seen from Transformers fans and collectors, it's unfortunately not one of the greatest deluxe class figures to come out last year in 2025, and it is the Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class TF1 B-127 aka Bumblebee. So yeah, this is the Studio Series Deluxe Class sized version of Bumblebee as he appeared in the Transformers TF1 movie, and most of the action figures from that have been released in the Studio Series line based off the characters from TF1. They haven't been the greatest, or they're ones that Transformers fans and collectors absolutely enjoy wholeheartedly. And basically, the general consensus from Transformers fans and collectors is, for the Studio Series Transformers action figures from TF1, you either completely love them or you completely hate them, with not much middle ground. And Bumblebee's been one of the ones that a lot of fans and collectors haven't really enjoyed that much or embraced or wanted to have in their Transformers collection. And I believe right now Bumblebee's one of the action figures from last year in 2025 that's shelf warming right now. I'm going to be calling him Bumblebee throughout the rest of the video because for me personally, saying the name Bumblebee is easier for me than having to say B-127, and I've never really liked that name that they gave Bumblebee during the Bumblebee movie several years ago, because B-127, that's not a name, that's a code number, and so, yeah, he's always going to be Bumblebee to me, so that's how I'm going to refer to him throughout the rest of the video review. So, you got some artwork of Bumblebee here on the side of his box. It's a close-up of his face, which is shown here on the front of the box, wrapping around to the side, showing his robot mode. You got his alt mode of a Cybertronian car. He transforms back and forth between both modes in just 18 steps. Next, you've got the Studio Series TF1 logo from 2025, along with Takara Tomi's logo on the top of the box. You got Hasbro's logo down here, and the suggestion states that people ages 8 and older are capable of buying and playing with Studio Series TF1 Bumblebee. Got the same product. You got some product photos of both his robot mode and his alt mode and his appearance in the film. And his one-sentence bio, which repeats in 5 different languages, reads: Bumblebee, Optimus Prime, Megatron, and Elita 1 go on a mission to save Cybertron. So yeah, his one-sentence bio, it names all the Transformers characters by the names they've had throughout a majority of the Transformers franchise. Oddly enough, even though back in Transformers Generation 1, in the original series back in the 1980s, Elita 1, just like Optimus Prime, she did have a different name when she was younger, before she became a lieutenant in the Autobot ranks. She was originally known as Autobot Ariel, while Optimus Prime was known as Orion Pax. Bumblebee and Megatron, back in Generation 1, originally didn't have a name change. They were always known as Bumblebee and Megatron from the time they were created, so it's only been in more recent years that Megatron's been known as a D16, which is a reference to the number he had when he was released in Takara Tomi's micro-change line of Transformers action figures, and then Bumblebee was given the name B-127 in for the Bumblebee movie several years ago. Oh, so that's a more recent nickname for him, but for the sake of time and grammar, I'll just say that I've never really liked that name, so I just love that his one-sentence bio on the box addresses everyone by their final names rather than the names they started with. So without further delay, let's get Bumblebee out of his box and take a close look at him in his robot mode. Alright, and so here is Bumblebee out of the box, transferred into his robot mode and having all of his weapons attached to him. He comes with 5 accessory pieces, 2 arm extensions that make you transform his hands into the laser cannons that come out of the end of his arms, and the 2 blue energy stingers. And I love that instead of clear plastic like Hasbro's done in the past, they instead use solid plastic and then use paint for Energon. and I prefer that since it makes the weapons, the plastic, last a lot longer. And then Bumblebee has the sword weapon that he was shown using in the Transformers 1 film. So yeah, pretty nice array of accessory pieces that he comes packaged with. And I actually think that this sword might have been used by another character. It's been a while since I've watched Transformers 1, and so I'd have to go back and look. But yeah, really interesting design for Bumblebee. One thing that's not so interesting is when you turn him to the side, his legs are super thin. And if you actually bring his legs together, they will clip in place almost like they're supposed to do when you transform him into his alternate mode. So I can kind of see visually why and aesthetically why a lot of fans and collectors haven't really enjoyed this version of Bumblebee. His shoulder pads are actually the wheels of his alternate mode. Same thing here with the sides of his the exterior sides of his feet. Those are the actual wheels of his alt mode. And like most of the Transformers 1 action figures, what this version of Bumblebee has going for him more than anything else is trying to be screen accurate to his appearance in the TF1 film. For articulation, his head is on a ball joint, so he can spin 360 degrees left and right. Arms have ball joints at the shoulder, so they can go forward and backward, clockwise and counterclockwise 360 degrees. Swivel joint in the bicep right above the elbow joint, which is on a hinge. He doesn't have wrist swivels due to how the hands transform. But he does have a waist swivel, so he can spin 360 degrees left and right. Universal jointed hips, the legs can go forward this far, they can go backwards this far, but due to the somewhat boxy shape of Bumblebee's thighs, due to the fact that they form a part of his alt mode, the articulation is somewhat limited. Legs can go out only this far, so you can see right there, that's how the boxy shape really limits the leg articulation. Swivel joint in the thigh right above the knee joint, which is also a hinge joint. The feet can go up and down at the ankle due to transformation, and then you have ankle rockers, so fairly a decent amount of articulation can be found on the TF1 version of Bumblebee. So overall, I can kind of see why a lot of fans and collectors have their gripes with how Bumblebee turned out, but some people have said that the mainline version of Bumblebee that was actually sold in the TF1 line is better than the Studio Series figure. I don't have that version of Bumblebee, so I don't know. I don't have any honest thoughts about that comparison. But overall, yeah, he is a pretty average deluxe class size Transformers action figure, and he is on the small side. I apologize for not having any Transformers action figures to show off here. He is slightly smaller than other deluxe class Bumblebee figures we've gotten, such as the Netflix Bumblebee or the Studio Series 86 Bumblebee. Actually, I think he might be the same size as Studio Series 86 Bumblebee, but most deluxe class Transformers are much larger than he is, including the Studio Series deluxe class Optimus Prime, Megatron, and Elita 1 figures that came out. Bumblebee is about a head shorter than they are, so that is screen accurate again, and that's really what this action figure has going for it, is trying to be a screen accurate to his appearance in the TF1 film. So without further delay, let's get this guy transformed into his alt mode and wrap up the review. Alright, and so here is Bumblebee transformed into his alternate mode. Everything does have to be very compact in order to transform successfully. When you do, the 4 yellow wheels on the sides of him do roll fairly well. There is unfortunately a gaping hole on the side of Bumblebee, as you can see. You can see my... get in the right spot. There's my eye looking right through Bumblebee at the camera. So yeah, it is unfortunate that the designers gave Bumblebee that gaping hole right there, and there's no part that flips out to hide that. So, and his shins form the rear section of his vehicle mode. It's not his robot mode feet, but you might trick yourself into thinking that it is. But yeah, visually I can kind of see why the vehicle mode is really lackluster, even by the standards of Cybertronian alt modes. And the clearance level is a hairline, so Bumblebee can only roll around on flat surfaces. There's no way he's going to go off-roading like he does in the Transformers 1 film. So, overall, I agree with what most fans and collectors have been saying. He's not the greatest Bumblebee action figure, let alone a Transformers action figure overall. He's average. He's mediocre. There's not too much specialty things going for him. And for weapon storage, there's two rectangular ports here on his alt mode, and you take the two stingers and you plug them into those rectangular slots. Like so. And they do feel like they could break very easily, so just be mindful of that when you're shoving them down and when you're pulling them out. But yes, that is overall, that is the weapon storage for Bumblebee's two stingers is there on the roof, and the sword blaster, which I believe was I think it was used by Elita 1 in the film. I could be wrong. It could have been used by Megatron. The product photo on the box shows you just plug it here on the side of the alt mode. It doesn't really matter what size you plug it in. And if you wanted on the other side, you have to rotate it upside down in order for it to be pointing forward. Or if you want it pointed backwards, you could do that as well. You can have it pointing backwards, facing upside down on this side. Also, I apologize. At my job, I have to talk all day long, and so this past week I was talking a lot at my job, and so my voice is starting to peter out. But yeah, and if you do shove the weapon in all the way here on the 5mm port, it plugs into the wheel that it pushes on the back. Will start to rub it, so I do recommend leaving some clearance there so that the wheels can still spin when Bumblebee's in his alt mode. So yeah, not the greatest weapon storage either. So Bumblebee would have had a lot of potential to be a standout action figure. Some Transformers fans and collectors have gone so far as to say that Bumblebee's been overused as a Transformers character. That has to do with the fact that he became the main Transformers character featured in the Transformers live-action movies, and for a while Hasbro even tried to have Bumblebee replace Optimus Prime as the poster character to the Transformers franchise. But so yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say about him. So for the final proverbial question of the review, do I recommend getting the Transformers Studio Series TF1 version of Bumblebee and adding it to your Transformers collection? I only recommend getting it if you want to have an action figure of Bumblebee based on his appearance in the Transformers 1 movie, and you want to see him standing beside Optimus Prime, Megatron, and Elita 1. If you prefer the mainline TF1 action figure of Bumblebee, and if you're not really a fan of Bumblebee as a Transformers character, and you're not really a fan of the Transformers 1 movie, and if you aren't a fan of all those things together, then this action figure can unfortunately be a very easy pass. So I only recommend getting it if you're really into Transformers 1 and Bumblebee's portrayal in that film. If you're not a fan of both of those, or just either one of those but not the other, then again, this figure can be an easy pass. So this has been the TFangy. This has been my review of one of the most mediocre deluxe class size Transformers action figures to come out last year in 2025, Transformers Studio Series TF1 Bumblebee. Only recommend getting this if you absolutely want to have a screen accurate deluxe class version of Bumblebee from Transformers 1. If not, then this figure can be an easy pass. So thank you guys all so much for your continued support. Thank you to all my friends and subscribers. And until next time, you guys, remember, collecting is a lifelong hobby. It can last forever as long as you enjoy it. Alright, and please remember to stay safe, stay healthy, and until next time, you guys, transform and roll out. Goodbye, everyone.